Anything beats a zero.
We make everything look good, including being overweight. So, scientifically, you cannot drink alkaline water and it makes your cells alkaline.
The closer you are to nature, the healthier you will be.
Happy Saturday, everyone. I am Carolyn Gentle, and you're in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist. Please go ahead and share this live out so we can have others be a part of the conversation. We have a great show lined up for you all today. Today, we are going to be talking about food ingredients, what you don't know could kill you. Also, deadly cosmetics, too much, too toxic, and also the hair, the braiding hair. They're putting chemicals and every other kind of chemical, toxic chemicals in the braiding hair. We're going to be talking about that, how your lifestyle affects your health, and vaping health risks. So we're going to be talking about all that stuff. Dr. Zarif is going to break it down for us. So, Dr. Zarif, go ahead and join me here so we can get it started. Hello, happy Saturday to you, Dr. Zarif.
Happy Saturday, Carolyn. This is really beautiful to be here. Before we get started, I really want to thank everybody for really supporting us. Like we've been doing this a couple of years now, and we're really making great progress. So thank you very much to you all for that. I want to also invite you out. I know that this is pre recorded. This is a super important, very, very important uh, segment that we're sharing with you today. So please take notes. Please come back and listen to it with your loved ones and really get a good foundation for better nutrition, better health. I also want to invite you out to 6614 Western Avenue to work out with us. We're on our way now. When you hear this, we're on the road headed toward Mount Tabor Missionary Baptist Church. And we're going to work out. We want you to come there. We even get people, if you need a little cash to get started, just let us know, and we'll definitely get you going. So that you don't have to worry about that. But please let your friends know we're there. Bring your little weights. Bring if you have like a mat, just
Mhm.
come join us. We really want you to come work out with us because nutrition doesn't work by itself. You need other components. That's why we're bringing you this news. If it were just about nutrition, we wouldn't be talking about exercise and rest and environment. We'll be talking about just, hey, eat good and you're going to be okay. It doesn't work that way. So please join us again at 6614 Western Avenue, and that is the Mount Tabor Missionary Baptist Church. We start at 8 a.m. and I'm sorry, we start at 9 a.m. Uh,
Yeah.
yes, so we start at 9 a.m. and we started off with giving you knowledge the knowledge that is just invaluable. So please come ready to take notes down. You don't have to worry about something that you don't know or feel uncomfortable. I'm here to tell you the hardest part is to get you through that door. Everything else after that is an easy workout. And lastly, we do work out and we bring the funk. We won't be doing the mamby-pamby. We will definitely get you a good workout. And we do this every first and every third of every month. So please be there. Okay. All right.
Every first, just a correction on that, every first and third Saturday of every month.
And I thought that's exactly what I said, but I guess I didn't. Thank you. Thank you. However, I appreciate that. The excitement sometimes overtakes me. Let's go ahead and look into some of these foods that are actually, people say, hey, I don't eat that because they got poison in it. I'm here to tell you that most edible plants have some type of defense system, and it comes in the form of a toxin. We can talk about botany later on, but for now, just know, starting off with lima beans, for instance. When we talk about lima beans, we're talking about a very wonderful bean, the legume in the legume family, that's delicious and known mostly for as butter beans, like in our community, and I'm talking about the Black community. And they are delicious, but they have been vilified for years to be a less than rich source of vitamins and minerals. So the lima bean contains cyanide, and this is a natural defense. Thankfully, the United States restricts the commercial lima bean growth to only those beans with low cyanide levels. So just be safe. Just make sure that you boil them about 10 minutes before you go in cooking them full force. And usually I say that because some people will cook the beans at a very low and slow heat, and which is a good way to cook them. Remember also you can soak the beans along with the raw red kidney beans that contain a toxin, and it's called phytohemagglutinin. Phytohemagglutinin, and that is a toxin that won't kill you, but it will cause you to vomit, which is reverse peristalsis. Everything comes up, and nausea. Now, to destroy that toxin is very much like the lima beans. 10 minutes of boiling before you cook the bean. Add 10 minutes of just bring it to a boil and cook that. That'll help to reduce the cyanide or in this case is the phytohemagglutinin, and that's you can treat it just like you would do the cyanide. Then we have cherry. Now, those of you that had gout before, and you put all of these over the counter, these OTCs in your body, and you found out that the cherry juice or tart cherry really works incredible when you have all that extra uric acid in your body. The cherry is in itself is safe and is delicious, but just don't eat the pits. Cherry seeds are located inside the pit, and just one or two contain enough cyanide to kill a 150-pound person. So you have to add this to your knowledge. Again, you want to make sure that the cherry seeds, this is the cherry itself is safe. And what we don't want you to eat are the pits. Don't eat the pits because the cherry seeds are located inside the pit, and is just one or two. It can contain enough cyanide to kill a 150-pound person. So keep that in mind. That's quite interesting, isn't it? Next, let's move along to we have that's your red beans there. And we just talked about your cherry, the tart cherry there. And now we're going to go right into elderberries. Now, when we talk about the elderberry jam, you probably heard of it because it's really sweet and it's delicious, but you should never eat the berry raw. Did you know that? Don't eat a elderberry raw. And I know some people, I eat these right off of the tree. We have to understand how nature works because sometimes it can be a deadly threat to your body. Elderberries contain glycosides, and the glycosides, when metabolized, they actually turn into a form of cyanide. Just like the cyanide we talked about earlier, they actually metabolize and they turn into a form of cyanide. As with bitter almond, cyanide in the elderberries can be neutralized by cooking the berries. Now I know some people say, "What bitter almonds? Are they like the raw almonds?" know there are different kind of almonds, just like different type of apples and so forth. But you want to make sure that you're eating small amounts anyway. I want to move along to talk about now the rice. Now, when we come to rice, I think I don't have any. Everybody knows what rice looks, so we'll go ahead and bypass that. But when we talk about rice, we're talking about a half of, or maybe a quarter cup contains a few micrograms of arsenic. Honestly, you probably never, you can eat a crazy amount of rice and it would never kill you. It takes about 1,800 cups of rice to give you a problem long before you even get to the point of them killing you. So is just keep that in mind. Again, balance. Now, I want to move along to nutmeg. Now, you probably already heard about nutmeg being a um, called poison and called dangerous and a lot of things like that. But you can just relax. You're just grating a little nutmeg in your coffee or a hot toddy is still perfectly fine. Now, however, you don't go overboard with the spice, as a large serving will definitely carry you with it into a large dose of the organic compound is called myristicin. And myristicin, in rare cases, the myristicin can cause poisoning that leads to death. I know you probably haven't heard of this before, but you can back all of this up. I can. You can look for it, do your due diligence. Don't take my word for it. There are many sources for all of these good, great things that you're going to learn today. Okay. So again, we're talking about myristicin, and myristicin is a poisoning that has led to death. In less extreme instances, the poison can cause hallucinations and it can cause nausea. Again, let me tell you, it's using very small amounts, not like you're going to make a nutmeg smoothie and just put it all in. Remember, again, balance. Next, I want to go to yucca. Now, yucca looks just like this, right? It's a very uh, deep root, and it just looks healthy. It's like when you look at it, it's like, I know this got to help me. But yucca contains poisonous glycosides. And remember, glycosides are the same poisoning or the same type of, well, I would say a toxin as elderberries. And keep that in mind. In raw elderberries, they contain the glycosides. And those glycosides are um, very, again, harmful if you're eating too much. So don't just open up. I know we say the closer you are to nature, the healthier you'll be, but it's understanding how you use nature. Okay. Making sure that you understand that. If you're growing yucca in your garden, avoid glycoside poisoning by just drying or cooking the yucca soon after it's harvested. Then we have the potatoes. Now, haven't you heard about people saying, I don't like the potatoes when they're green? That's why I don't put them in the refrigerator because it doesn't let the potato age. But the potatoes are generally safe, but they make uh, a it makes you when you vilify them. It definitely is reasonable because they will start to turn green, or if they're not green, you're okay. But unlike the traffic light that should stop when um, uh, I just messed all that up. I was just thinking about the traffic light would be a good example. I'm going to go ahead and go with it. Just like you see the green light, that means go. Well, in the case of potatoes, it does not mean go. It means that you should stop. because they're being bitter. These green potatoes, they produce a chemical and they call solanine. And the solanine or solanine, which can cause the vomiting and even cardiac arrest. You don't want to put these in your body because, again, I'm talking about the ones that are green. Okay, so don't get. I'm not eating any potatoes anymore. Stop being so extreme. Okay, let's go back to tomatoes now. Tomatoes, of course, you know I love tomatoes because of the lycopene. And all men over 50 years old, you should be definitely over 40 now. I think you can start early for be proactive. But the eating or the ingestion of tomatoes are absolutely fantastic. So let's get that straight. But what I do want to talk to you about are the tomatoes, the leaves and the stems, and they are known to contain a poisoning or a poison that's called glycoalkaloid. And glycoalkaloid isn't likely to kill you either. It just has been known to cause severe stomach pain and cramps. Now we're going to go back to Carolyn to get a little feedback.
That was great information. Thank you so much, Dr. Zari. You know, I know you said that you don't have to worry about overdoing it. It's just funny that you mentioned nutmeg, and now it's like I'm like, I add nutmeg to my drinks, and you almost kind of want to have some kind of a measurement to say, okay, so how much is too much? You know, because
Gotcha.
yeah, because I think sometimes I don't know, we kind of go off of thinking, I don't know, is this too much? Is this too little? Kind of thing. So that kind of makes it a little.
Bigger challenge, right?
Say it again.
I said a bigger challenge, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, when it really comes down to servings and using like seasonings, some things you use a heavy seasonings on, like if you're doing beans or if you're doing, a stew or if those people that are cooking meat, they use a lot. But when it comes to things like a cup of tea, or if it comes to something like you're going to put a little bit in some cocoa, or you have some almond milk, those kinds of things, and you put a little sprinkle in them, and
Hmm.
that's it. And if you had that, instead of having a cup of that every day, because it's going to taste delicious, so instead of having a cup of that every day, why not every 2 days, every 3 days, twice a week, maybe? But when a person starts, I do that every day, 3 times a day, then that is extreme. And
Yes.
it's hard to get through to people that think like that because they're usually extreme in other parts of their life also.
Right. Now, does cinnamon fall into the category, that same category as nutmeg?
Well, cinnamon doesn't have the kind of toxicity that nutmeg has.
Okay.
Nutmeg is stronger than cinnamon. Cinnamon is actually also have different properties, but it's usually I know in that same. I use nutmeg, I use cinnamon, and I
Hmm.
use pumpkin spices. The whole those kind of spices. Again, it comes down to the balancing of what you're eating and drinking. Not
Yes.
that you can't do it at all, and again, some people are just extreme. They're extremists, and
Right.
therefore that's the reason that they act as they do.
Right.
All right. Well, shall we go ahead? And now we have you heard of the women now that are getting all types of diseases and those things that I was actually talking to you, Kara. I wanted you to answer that. Um, so I guess you're away now, but
I'm here. I'm sorry.
come on back. This is the what I want to ask you about. This some of the things that um, I tell you what. I'll go ahead and I'll talk about it. You listen to it and then give me some feedback after it. Okay? Because I want to talk about the sisters, women that are now getting their hair braided. And not only are they getting sick, but the person that is braiding their hair is getting sick. And some people are getting a poison where they have to actually go into the hospital in order to deal with these types of challenges. So when we talk about the hair, when we talk about the things that we are noticing that is happening with people that are getting their hair braided, this really is a deep concern because sisters are just really getting back to, you really see a lot of sisters appreciating the hair. I know I do, because for one moment we went through a little, period where everybody was getting straight hair and blonde hair and all the different colors of hair and all that. I don't ever talk against a woman getting dressed, because women make the world a more beautiful place. But when it comes to some of the cosmetics, we're talking about too much can be too toxic. Okay. So, there's a saying that actually goes, beauty is pain, but it isn't supposed to be deadly. So, you know, why has this new analyst actually found that 80% or more than 4,000 beauty products marketed towards Black women contain contain at least one hazardous ingredient, and in most containing multiples. Now, with the following up on this information, there are various recent studies highlighting how some of the synthetic braiding hair may contain carcinogens. And remember, carcinogens are the some of the the substances that are potentially synthetic, or they're potentially carcinogenic, or they have carcinogens, which are potentially cancerous. So, lead and other harmful chemicals are also can be quite dangerous, especially if you ingest them or your body is absorbing them. Now, for years, researchers have flagged the connection between certain beauty products and elevated these risks, your health risk. Remember, when you're eating something or putting something on your skin, rubbing something in your skin, even being out in the sun too long, all of these can increase the risk of infection and disease and injury to your body. So be sure that, again, you keep your balance. For example, from formaldehyde, you've heard of formaldehyde. That is the substance that's used to, after a person dies, is treated to preserve the body from just rotting. A known carcinogen, and the formaldehyde is a known carcinogen and is found in some of the hair relaxers, as we'll find that it has been a focal point of concern. Now, the studies, including one from the National Institutes of Health, found that braiding hair and the frequent use of chemical hair straighteners doubles the risk of uterine cancer, and both are under a lot of threat, both the client and the braider. So not only are you endangering yourself when you're getting your hair braided, but you also are endangering the braider. And this, what happens here is that the chemical hair straighteners, they double the risk of the uterine cancer. And as you know, uterine cancer is a very high, as we talk about the risk. It's a high risk. And cancer is just one of the most inflammatory words on the planet. So meanwhile, There are also skin lightening products that can harbor mercury and or steroids, which can disrupt hormones and damage organs over time. Now, there is a group association is called EWG, and EWG are known for their analysis. Almost all new food chemicals, for instance, have been green lighted through FDA, USDA, CDC, on and on, because these are associations that keep us informed about the foods that we eat and whether or not they're safe. Now, the latest EWG, again, Environmental Working Group, and their latest analysis were co-authored with Dr. Kristen Edwards, who founded or co-founded the All Natural Black Marketplace, and that's the BLK and the BRN after the reading in the initial report that revealed that the scope of the problem was quite urgent. And what we're talking about are the different chemicals that are found in foods. Of the 4,011 products evaluated, only 21% are marked as the low hazard in the EWG Skin Deep database. Now, the rest are over 3,000 moderate to high hazard with hair care products, especially relaxers, that's leading the pack. So, in other words, that we have about 3,000 moderate to high substances that we have to that we acknowledge as and what has been proven to be hazardous and can be carcinogistic. So these different carcinogens again can cause cancer, and cancer can be pretty much anywhere on the human body or in the human body. Now, some very known. Let me see here. Good. Some very known different what we call high hazard products that have been with the hair care, especially the relaxers. They're definitely something that we need to look into. Now, how very well known these brands are, sometimes people just say, I know I have my hair looking exactly the way I want to, and therefore I'm going to use it. But black households appear on the list with the ingredients like sodium hydroxide, formaldehyde, releasing all types of preservatives, and hormone disrupting parabens flagged as dangerous. And this happens when the report also comes with receipts, though. It names names, and it spells out exactly which chemicals pose risk, which is a level of clarity we are not used to when it comes to research involving Black women's health and wellness. We got to take care of the sisters better than and look out better than we have in the past. If we're purchasing drugs, if we're purchasing things that are prohibited to be used versus a woman looking great, something wrong with that equation. If a woman is, if the best that the woman can look is with safe products and safe decisions, then go with that decision and go with that look. Now, I know a lot of people right now probably saying, man, the hell with that. I'm all about the looks. But if that sister gets sick, for instance, just like through obesity, a lot of sisters are obese. We have over 51% of Black women are obese. And believe it or not, the last time I read those numbers, they were going down slowly, meaning that we have more sisters that are getting in shape. And I'm glad to hear that. Nevertheless, got to take care of uh, our sisters. And sisters, you got to take care of yourself too. We love your natural hair, so please embrace that. Um, don't let it stand between you and another. You might want to just go ahead and have some counseling if there's that big of a problem, but remind yourself that all of the different things that you find, the formaldehyde and the parabens and all the different types of chemicals like fragrance chemicals and other hair relaxers. In the meanwhile, still the average of a hazard score of 5 this is back onto the EWG scale, is actually down from 8 in 2016. So it used to be high. We are getting better. That hazard score is 5 now, and again we're in 2025, and it was that's down from the score 5 is 2016, and now we're doing better here in 2025. So thank you, sisters, for that. We're going to stop for a minute and let Carolyn tell you where we are, what we're doing, and how we're going.
I noticed my hair was itching and it was just difficult to breathe overall.
A report found potentially cancer-causing chemicals in synthetic braiding hair that's often marketed to Black women. Medical student Crystal Thomas says she had some negative health symptoms after using synthetic hair, so she started doing research and published her findings in an academic journal.
About 2 years ago, I decided to get braids for the first time in over a decade. And I was really excited about it at first, but as the day went on, I realized there was this unbearable smell. As I kept smelling this, my throat tightened up.
Consumer Reports, which conducted this study, is now calling on the FDA to investigate synthetic braiding hair and to create strict standards for these products.
We decided to test for heavy metals and volatile organic compounds, or VOCs. 9 out of the 10 products had concerning levels of lead. The good news was that one of the products had no heavy metals at all. And that suggested to us that if manufacturers really want to, they could make these products without at least heavy metals.
Kaneka, the brand that Crystal Thomas says she used, told Consumer Reports in part that they manufacture Kanekalon fibers that are used in hair products, but not the final products. The company also saying it would need more information to properly analyze the complaint. NBC News reached out to all the brands in the report, but has not yet heard back.
All right, that was great information. Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. Now, as far as the hair information, I remember, I can't remember the name of the show, or it's not a show, it's a movie. They cloned Tyrone, or do you remember that movie?
Oh, I remember that.
Yes.
With Jamie on it.
Right, with Jamie Foxx. It reminds me of that, because I think sometimes we look at things like that and think it's more like comical. But I do believe, like we just saw the story there, that there are some toxic things being put in, like the perms and the braiding hair and just all that stuff that, sometimes you just want to just go natural, which is like, when I heard that story, I'm like, okay, let me hold off and do some more research myself to see what I'm putting in my hair, because it does matter. I mean, if we're here and we're not sure what's going on with the chemicals and the things that we're used to, then you don't really want to do anything, with your hair, because you're not sure if it's going to be something that you're hurting yourself. You want to be the healthiest you can be. So, that becomes a bit of a challenge when it's time for us to make decisions on the things that we need to do to make sure we're healthy.
And I think a part of it also is that we got to make better decisions. we're still in an identification crisis. And I see a lot of people, and I see it in my sisters too, and no shade, but I do appreciate sisters that compliment themselves with their natural hair. And not only because it's a look, but it is also an acknowledgement of self love. I understand when a person goes out and parties and they're with all the girls and they have all yellow hair or purple or pink or all of these colors. First of all, you know I don't see any other uh I would say I have seen other cultures, but it's usually just a white and black culture. I haven't seen it in other cultures, but I think that as far as women getting out and having fun and enjoying themselves, that might be the thing that they want to do. But when you hear this poor report about all the chemicals that can be absorbed through your scalp and to affect your brain, and these are carcinogens, this really makes you stop and you think about it. It's like I'm putting that on my skin. My skin is absorbing that, and guess what? Through the skull, all of this is alive inside beyond your skin on your skull. And I think we don't think like that. I remember talking to sisters about high heels one time. And now, if you really want to see how sisters are really, dedicated to you tell them, like, no, sister, don't wear pumps. That's bad for your back and your knees and all that. Now, that kind of thing is actually better for a woman to talk about. But I think that being a man, I can appreciate it because legs are so damn sexy. To me, it's like I love, the long. It's just beautiful. I love the legs and the blackness and all of that is just so beautiful. I love it. But some people they like, I'm going to keep wearing mine. Now, most I haven't, my mother, my grandmother, every woman that I've known do not wear heels all day. They'll have the heels to take care of some business, but when they get in the car, they're kicking them off. When they get even when they get on the bus, they're taking those bad boys out, and then they'll slip them back on when they got to walk back out. But those can't be the easiest. The easiest thing to do is walk in those pumps. Thank you for wearing those, my sisters. But women do sacrifice a lot to look good for us. And what you have to say about that, Karen?
Well, I mean, I kind of in I don't know if it's only for men. Women do it for themselves as well. We
Yeah.
like to look good for us, and then when the men see it, they love it as well. But going back to the hair, you mentioned an identity crisis. Now, I do understand that you do have some people who, yes, they may be having an identity crisis, but you also have people who wear like braids. Braids is considered what Black people wear in our hair. You know what I mean? So I know other cultures do it as well, but I mean, we are the ones that do that. So it's like, um, just having that be something that it's almost like it's under attack as far as the way we wear our hair. That's where I don't know. It just seems like that there is an attack on the way we wear our hair, and also some people wear it for protected as a protective style. So if you're putting that in your hair and you're thinking that it's protected at that time, but it's not because of all these chemicals, that's another issue as well. And then you also have like any kind of synthetic wigs. Some people they use synthetic wigs, but you may have some people who may be suffering from alopecia, and they wear wigs to help them with that. Or cancer survivors. That's another reason why someone would wear wigs or things like that. So I think there's a lot of reasons why people wear or women wear wigs or braids. So I just think that it's not all just that identity crisis. And like I said, yes, that is a part of it. That can be a part of it, especially when you kind of go extend it in different kind of ways, and colors and things like that. But I just wanted to get that out there because I'm like, it does seem to be an attack, and it's like, come on. Uh, like the guy mentioned in the video, there was one company that did not have all those chemicals, so why can't the other ones do that same thing? You know, so that's my comment on that topic.
Definitely appreciate those comments. They're very, very well. They're needed also because sisters need to hear that coming from sisters. Also, I think we were just talking about a little bit um, of what you said earlier about the challenges that a sister has to go through, like how when she goes to school, you get students that talk about her hair. She got too much, it's too long, it's too much, it's too braided, it should have been twisted, it's dreadlocks, it's
Mhm.
whatever that they use. But there was a movie that was called 10, and TEN, and I think Goldie Hawn was the who some one of those actresses, but the she was a Caucasian woman, and she was not like the women today with the big butts and all the other BBLs and stuff like that. But I remember it was she came running down the beach, and everybody stopped, and then when it came up from the camera came from her feet in the sand all the way up her thighs, and then her breast, and then her hair was braided,
Mhm.
you know. And this made, I remember hearing other sisters say, like, you can imagine what they said. So I would say, wow, well, why don't y'all just go ahead and, that's not even competition. You're the most beautiful women on the planet. And some people, instead of taking action and embracing our hair, the hair that we have, the only hair that defies gravity, it could stand up without, that I love the things. You got to love yourself. So yeah, it's not only that work. There's a time that women actually were they had to be reprimanded uh, because of wearing their hair to work was in their terms ghetto like, or it was they looked like a person was underdressed for work. It was too casual, and they like some people actually lost their jobs or end up leaving the job because they couldn't do it. But another thing about hair is, wow, it's a whole big story with hair. I
Mhm.
remember I started back in 1982 having classes on Crenshaw, right at 7601 Crenshaw Boulevard, right on the corner. Little house looking place now. It was like a skyscraper when I was there. It was woo, but you grow. And one of the things that um, when we had classes, people actually I had to almost pay women to come to work out because they had paid 80, $90 and more to get their hair done, and then they didn't want to come and sweat it out.
Mhm.
And then I said, well, do something that you doesn't cause you to sweat. And it was a list of other things. Because I get started, I don't want to stop. And then when I don't want to stop, I keep going, whatever. That kind of thing. Have you ever heard anything like that?
I have, and that's actually where like the braids came in handy. As far as that
Yeah,
protective style.
exactly.
So that's why I say it's like being under attack. Like, you can't go and do this and do that like you want to, but hey, that's
I think, like with more and more people, especially like brothers now, so many brothers now have their hair braided, including myself. And I love it. You grow to love it. And you just like anything else or any other style. It's really beautiful, and the more that we embrace ourselves, the better we feel about ourselves. If you have any comments, please leave those. This is not an argument. This is just a acknowledgement,
Yes.
and we definitely have so much to say about ourselves, and what we have to say about ourselves is very constructive.
Mhm.
Okay, so where are we now? I think, let me see. I want to go to, we were talking about lifestyles. We're going to talk about more of these lifestyles. So let's go into, when we talk about these lifestyles, we want to talk about how we live and these lifestyles that can actually prevent lifestyle diseases. So, in order to prevent these lifestyle diseases, I want to just go over a few things. First, I'm going to talk about chronic disease. Is one of those diseases that can be around you for a while or even a lifetime. So we want to make sure that we're doing these few things. I'm going to give you about 4 or 5 things that you can take away with you. First, let's start off with, well, I didn't finish rushing. We talked about the chronic disease, which can be around for a long time and it can be with you for a lifetime. An acute disease, like let's say maybe a cough or influenza, those kinds can be around for a shorter time. So there is a difference. Chronic disease is more than just a phrase. It can be longevity. So let's start off with some of the things that can prevent chronic disease. And most of this can be happen by you adjusting your habits. Adjust your habits. Something very, very important. Live the kind of lifestyle that you want to live, and that you feel that can actually make a difference about the way that you see and you experience life. Okay, I'm going to leave that up a while because that photo is saying a lot. It's speaking about brothers getting an examination, and it's also speaking about our professionalism in the hospitals and urgent care centers. We are practically everywhere, and we can do just as well as anybody else when it comes to taking care of our people and taking care of ourselves. Let's start off with diet. Diet. Well, my advice, first of all, is just straightforward. Eat plants that are whole and unrefined and minimally processed. Eating plant based foods helps to reduce diabetes, type 2 diabetes, also heart disease and cancer risk. Now, there is evidence that the human rhythm diet or the human circadian rhythm, that the eating style that I founded, and the Mediterranean diet, also, I want to add that too, but it can reduce the risk of developing cardiovascular disease and other chronic diseases. Now, this diet is rich in vegetables, fruits, beans, legumes, whole grains, and for the Mediterranean diet, fish, also olive oil and nuts. Now, other evidence suggests that consuming a fully plant-based diet can even reverse the chronic diseases, diet-related conditions, including the advanced heart disease. Now, this diet, when we talk about the um, plant-based diet, that means, in my case, it means, and other people too, eliminate meat and dairy and eggs, and include the whole foods such as the vegetables, the whole grains, legumes, and fruit. Now, it is the most compassionate. Both of these diets or eating lifestyles are some of the most compassionate and most sustainable diets. which means that it can go with you for a lifetime. Next is physical activity. Whatever you do, move. Playing with your pets, or rolling around with the children, and getting out walking. You can walk. You don't even need to do a power walk. Just walk, move, and you will find that you will get some really great results from that. And at least work yourself up to 45 minutes a day, or as much as you can through the week. Maybe start off with 2 times a week and increase that. And as you do it, you will find that it is something that is very helpful. Next, we have sleep. And sleep is, shoot for about 7 to 9 hours of restful sleep. Excuse me, that's that deep sleep. But if you can't, if you can't help but to, stay up with the, burning the midnight oil, some of the things that you can do, you can have a consistent bedtime and wake time, even on the weekends. Just have you a map. If you don't have some kind of strategy, you're not really serious about what you're talking about. Have a strategy, and this will help. So being consistent about your bedtime, your wake time, and even on the weekends. Don't just now that it's the weekend, you stay up 4 hours more and you go to bed, early in the morning hours, and then you get up late. Keep it strong, keep it constant. Another thing is to be physically active daily. You can make it thematic, as a matter of fact, themes. This is going to be an all juice day. Remember our juice days, Juicy Fridays. We had a ball with that, and a lot of people were a part of the Juicy Fridays. That is, we're going to bring that back because I really enjoyed that. I think Kara enjoyed that too. That was really, really cool. Limit your alcohol and your caffeine, folks. You got to do that. Some people don't have enough the self-esteem in America and in other places around the world. Self-esteem is very low. That's why we made this crazy decision to have Donald Trump back in office again. How in the hell? I better not talk about that. Let's move along and look at, keeping your sleep area cool, dark, and comfortable. Now, your sleeping area should not be lit with a lot of light. You want to make sure that it is dark and it's cool and it's comfortable. And let me see how we're doing here. We want to also add to what I'm saying here is some stress release. Make sure that you're getting the stress relief that you need. And the chronic stress is not your immune system's friend. It breaks down the immune system, and it also disturbs the immune system. And we don't need that. Mindfulness is another thing. Mindfulness, you probably heard of this before. If mindfulness is a state or being more present and aware of what you sense, what you feel, what you experience. And it's a great way to cope with stress and relax. And 2 ways to master mindfulness. One is that you can practice it daily, get used to it, get acquainted with it. And this helps you to just, be up in motion and doing the damn thing, like they say. The meditation, when it comes to meditation, if you're new to practicing meditation, you want to do about 4 breaths, 4 inhale breathing, or there's another box breathing that you can do too. And box breathing is a great place to start. You can start also with sitting up straight and relax in a comfortable position, quiet in a quiet location, and start off with something like maybe 5 minutes. Now, I'm going to tell you, when you first start off, 5 minutes is a long time. But if you continue to Work on your breathing, your breath, breathing in slowly, being mindful about releasing all the air from your lungs. And breathe through your nose too, as slowly as you count to 4 in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4. Be conscious of how the air feels in your lungs and in your diaphragm, using your diaphragm. Okay, so keep all that in mind. And lastly, I just want to go over with you quickly the vaping health risk. Now, some people, vaping is less harmful than smoking, but it's still not safe. You got to keep that in mind. E-cigarettes heat nicotine extracted from the tobacco and flavorings of other chemicals to create an aerosol that you inhale. Now, regular tobacco cigarettes contain 7,000 chemicals, many of which are toxic. While we don't know exactly what chemicals are in the e-cigarettes, the very most important thing to know is that you too can smoke fewer chemicals than smoking the traditional cigarettes. So keep that in mind, okay? There's a lot more information about the e-cigarettes. The CDC, for instance, has identified vitamin E acetate as a chemical of concern, among people with a valley. Vitamin E acetate is a thickening agent often used in THC. THC, you find that in weed, and is often used in THC vaping products, and it can be found in all lung fluid samples. The EVALI patients, EVALI patients, they examined by the CDC. Now, the CDC is changing up a lot, and its recommendations are sometimes not even looked at today, as far as we know, because of the changes in the White House. You now have RFK Jr. that heads it out. A lot of things have been changing as far as what a person should do in order to be a healthier person, because so much has changed there. So we want to stop it there and want to thank everybody from being here today, and really enjoy the discussion. Care?
Yes, Dr. Zarif, thank you so much. Thank you. That was just great information. I know that it was a lot of information for one, and anyone that joined us late, you can always go ahead and watch the replay. The replay is going to be on the Dr. Farid Zarif YouTube channel. Whew, that was a lot to say, huh? But that is where you'll be able to catch the replay. Also, if you haven't, please go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe. So yeah, great information. This Saturday morning, if you're watching this, will be, as Dr. already mentioned, on our way to Mount Tabor. So we are here 8 a.m. Pacific time every Saturday. So make sure to
Woohoo!
set your alarms to join us 8 a.m. every Saturday here in the Mind of Nature. Dr. Zari?
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot. We're going to go ahead and get this workout on. It's going to be really, really a lot of fun. Remember, bring your weights, and bring you a mat. If you don't have any, don't worry about it. We usually have some extra ones around. And make sure that you show up. We start at 9 a.m. And believe me, you get nutrition, and you're getting also the physical activity, because they work together. And then we also human touch. People been there, you don't have to touch people, but human touch also meaning being in the presence of other humans. That really makes it better. If you just still stuck in the house, you won't get out. The only time you go out is when you eat, then you right back in the house. Let's change that, okay? So thank you very much, everybody. Really appreciate you being here. I'm going to let go throw it back to Karen in case there's some last minute things.
Nope, no last minute things. Thank you all so much. I'm Carolyn Gentle.
And remember, the closer you are to nature, the healthier you be. I'm Dr. Zarif saying, keep your mind in the nature.